Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just a short little Beer 30 video from my ex-home base in Kingsland, Texas. I'll be moving from here on June the 11th, but what I wanted to talk about was, first of all, it is Beer 30, and it's a nice day here in Central Texas right now. The humidity is probably 30%. Temperature is about, I'm going to say, 82, 84 in that range. It's pretty nice right here on the patio right now. I drove over to the RV park that I'm going to be relocating to soon, and yeah, it's a go. No, I believe it'll work fine for the long term, short term, or whatever term I want it. But here's to you: Skol, Prost, cheers, all that stuff. And yeah, this is Tuesday. It is really nice. It's a nice day. Here's to you. You know, that is very good. I have to admit that. Anyway, what do I want to talk about today, or just touch on, since we just went through a few days where the weather forecast was really off bad, in that, you know, it was predicting rain all day today, all day yesterday, all day tomorrow, and of course all that's gone. They changed it all. You know, but you know, that was the long range forecast, you know, out about 6 or 7 days, and they kept changing it. And that reminded me that when I was a kid, you know, we didn't even have a TV, of course, till in the middle 50s, and there was only a few channels. I'm sure all you know about all this stuff. You know, most of you older guys know. But, you know, back then, you know, you had an antenna and you had to turn it to get the snow off the screen so you could even see the people that were doing the whatever it was. And we did get the weather. There was a weather channel out of San Antonio, Texas, WOAI, and I can't remember the weatherman's name. I should, because I watched every time the weatherman came, well, anytime anything came on, because there was not much programming. I mean, I was right there like a little robot, you know. But be that as it may, his weather forecast was done on like a marker board with a magic marker thing, and it was erasable, I think. And yeah, he'd draw little clouds and lightning and stuff. And, you know, I don't know how accurate the forecast was back then. I'm not sure it was any better than it is now, but I do remember this. You know, my dad, who was a farmer and the son of a farmer, you know, knew how to kind of guess the weather. I don't know how. Maybe it was by the crickets or the birds or deer or whatever. But, you know, I can remember days that, you know, I'd be going out. And, you know, we had 3 tractors. We had a John Deere A, a John Deere G, and a Massey Harris 44. And it was red and the other 2 were green. And the John Deere G and the John Deere A, you hand start them. They weren't electric start, you know. Now the Massey Harris was, but you know, they had a flywheel on the side of the tractor, and you opened the petcocks to relieve the pressure, you know, the compression pressure, and you just spin that flywheel, and then finally it would start. You know, it was amazing. I was always amazed, because I wasn't that big or strong or any of that stuff, but I was able to start the John Deere A. Now the John Deere G, I'm not sure if it had I think it had electric start, you know, like a battery and stuff, and but it was a propane tractor, and it had one big front wheel. And back then, none of the tractors had cabs. You know, that was out. We didn't have any of that. Or we didn't even have an umbrella. You know, we didn't have anything. You know, you had to wear a hat, and you just ate the dust. And so, you know, that was kind of the way it was. But the old John, there was no power steering either. You know, and for me, you know, I was plowing at nights and days when I was, I guess, 8, 9 years old. You know, when I was big enough to sit in the seat and hang on to the steering wheel, you know, Daddy would turn me loose, and yeah, because back then, you know, fathers looked at their sons like hired help. You know what I mean? Even though, you know, we got room and board, and every now we got allowance and stuff. But you know, the more sons a man had back then, the better off the more land he could farm. And so anyway, but I can remember, you know, plowing at night. I'd get home from school and change clothes, eat a snack. Sometimes I'd take a sandwich with me. Mother'd fix me something, and I'd take it with me to the, quote, field, and and plow till 10 o'clock at night, and come back home, take a bath, and go to bed, and that would go on for several days till I got all the plowing done, or till me and my brother did. But my brother was 6 years older than I was, so when he graduated from high school, of course, he was out on his own, just like that. And so he was through with plowing, and I was stuck with it. So, but it wasn't bad. I mean, I never looked at it as hard work. It was kind of fun, I mean, in some ways. And but as far as the weather, I can remember getting ready to go out to the field, and Daddy would say, well, you're probably not going to be out there until around lunchtime, so if you see some clouds coming up, go ahead and head back to the house, because you don't want to get caught out in the field on the tractor, and get the equipment all muddy and all that stuff. And so you couldn't really get a tractor stuck, but you could bog it up. You know what I mean? It was a mess. So we always cleared out of the fields when the rain was coming, or if it looked like, sometimes you get caught. Thunderstorms just show up, and it'd be raining within a few minutes. Because when the northers were coming in and stuff, the weather changed pretty quickly. But it was a really a historic life. I mean, we were doing stuff by hand. We had a garden and all that crap. I know I've talked about some of this stuff before, but it was compared to today. There was no news at all, basically none. We got a little local newspaper called the Kennedy Advance, and it came out once a week, and it was about 4 to 8 pages long, not much in it. PTA meetings, football games, and sports and stuff. But that was about it. There was no real crime in our area, and the population of the town was about 2,500 at that time. So, just a small South Texas town named Kennedy, Texas, and it was really a good way to live. I mean, I think about what we've got now and how far we've come with technology, and I'm not sure it's what I would call progress. I'm not sure. Maybe we're regressing. I'm not sure. But I mean, we're making if you call technological advances progress, then I guess we are. But as far as humans, quality of life, I don't think we've made any real progress at all. I mean, some of the, we do live longer now, maybe a little bit. I'm not sure. I think the average lifespan in the 50s and 60s was probably about what it is today. It hadn't gone up or changed much. It might be a few years difference, but not much. We had people back then that were in their 90s, 80s and stuff, so it wasn't unusual to see that. But it was, as far as the communication, using a smartphone, that wasn't even in the science fiction movies yet. That's how far out that was. But it was fun, and living on the farm, you got to see a lot of interesting things. You got to see not many people have seen a plant grow, okay, from basically a seed to a mature plant. For example, we kept our, Monsanto wasn't ruling the universe back then. You could actually save some of your corn seeds, your cotton seeds, and we planted another crop called maize, which was a little bitty seed, about the size of a BB. And we would save some of those, and then that would be our seed crop for the next year. And we had a barn, we had these bins where we'd store the seeds for the following year. And actually we did. We'd have a planter and we'd go plant those seeds, and on it would go. But now, Monsanto, they put a death gene in the cell, so you can't do that. You have to buy your seeds from Monsanto, or you can't plant a crop. And if you have a crop across the field from Monsanto and their hybrid stuff gets into your crop and ruins all your seeds, you can't file a lawsuit because they protected themselves. They're a huge corporation. But back then, people did save their seeds. We even saved, Mother was a good gardener, and she saved the seeds, and just replanted them year after year after year. And it was, again, it wasn't such a corporate lockdown, if you want to call it that. Back then, people could do a lot for themselves and did. And now you pretty much have to rely on these large corporations, to get things done for you. And they make it, it's almost mandatory that you have their products in some cases, or have particularly their seeds for you farmers out there. You know what I'm talking about, because you can't do that anymore. And the equipment now that, we had, we had 3 tractors, 2 combines, and we had, of course, we had 1 planter, and then we had a hay rake. I can't remember. We had a lot of stuff, and plows and stuff. And then we had I can't remember what it was called now. We had a shredder, of course, which was like a big lawnmower. And what else did we have? Let me think. There was a thing that chopped up stumps, and I can't remember what it was called. It was just it was like a bunch of blades, 4 blades, and you pulled it behind the tractor, and it would chop up not stumps, but stalks in the field. A stalk cutter. How about that? Bing! I win the prize. Yo, stalk cutter. That's what it was called. Here's to me. Yeah, but it was a fun deal. We didn't have an air conditioner. TV was laid on, and when TV did come out, it wasn't addictive. I mean, at least for me, because I wasn't used to it. I was already, I was probably 50, I was already 10 years old, and I didn't. I would watch it every now and then. I mean, I watched stuff like Winky Dink and You, and I didn't ever watch Howdy Doody. I thought that was stupid. And the Mouseketeers, the only one I wanted to see was Annette, and the rest of them could have fallen off a cliff, And then what else was going on in my life? There were some corny programs on TV. They had Suspense Theater, Danger. I can't remember, several of them. I've talked about all these before, but as far as communication, with people, worldwide, from our standpoint, there was none. Because there was no really national news that we got in Kennedy or that anybody in my home kept up with. Now, my dad may have, but I don't remember anything about that. I didn't. I know I didn't. And but it was simple, man. Simple only in the sense that we didn't have many things. We certainly didn't have a smartphone or car. We had cars and stuff, but they were very mechanical. You had to tune them up all the time, and they had points, plug, condenser, and all that stuff. And I know, all you guys know what I'm talking about. And you had to tune your car up. And tires didn't last very long. And so there's some changes that we've gone through that have made things better in a lot of ways, and maybe more than I can recall right now. But it's a whole new planet, guys. I promise you. As far as the telephone, I won't go through all that and bore you, but party lines and all that stuff. I know all you know about that stuff. But, now we walk around and without, in fact, if you leave your smartphone at home now, I'm 74 years old, and if I leave my smartphone at home, I turn around and come back and get it. Do I get any calls? No. Do I get a few texts? Sometimes. I might get, in a whole month, I might get 10, 15 texts total, and phone calls, maybe that or less. And so, you can see what a busy life I live. But we're going to be moving out of this place here, this home base number 2 or 1 or whatever it is. Probably this would be number 1. Capitan was number 2, but it didn't last very long. It was a little more popular than I thought. And will I do a home base number 3? There's a good chance that I might. I give it 50-50 right now. But if I'm contented in the place that I'm going to, I may be there for the long term. I don't know how long you can stay there. I know some people stay there for years. I assume, assumption's the mother of all mistakes, that I could do the same. Would I? I don't know. And as far as going RVing out west, north, whatever, I don't know. I'm not going to say it. It's just I don't have any plans right now. My plans are just to enjoy this pretty day, enjoy this beer, and then get me another one. That's what I plan on doing. It's pretty good. That's a long-term plan for me. That's good. That's very good. I enjoy sitting out here and having a few beers every day. How many do I have? Usually 2 or 3 beers. These are 16-ounce cans, so 3 would be 48 ounces. That'd be 4 12-ounce cans. And I usually drink 2 or 3. It just depends on how I feel. Like today, I feel pretty good. What the day is in. But be that as it may, guys, enjoy your life, man. I know I say this in every video, and I say it for a reason. I want you to relax. That snail. I'll say snail. It's going off here. It's just getting hung up in there. The reason I did that snail was not just for the snail. It was to remind people that slow down. There's no hurry. We're all going to die. Everybody knows that. We're all headed to the same place. It's like a wave coming in on the beach, and it goes out and it's gone. You know, we're just another wave, and we'll be gone. You know, we'll be wiped off this planet, and within 3 days after you're dead, nobody remembers your name. You know, we have a way of blocking that out. You know, we do. And is that good? Sure it is. That's what we're designed for. But yeah, just enjoy the life that you have now. How do you do that? First, you think about it. You know, you think about how, you know, what is it in my life that is causing me disturbance? You know, and then isolate it and start working on it. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. You know, if you don't, then it's going to be there forever. You know, things don't change unless you change them. That's just the way it is. You know, you can sit around and wish, hope, and dream, and pray and do whatever the hell you want to, but if you don't get off your butt and do something, ain't nothing gonna happen. And you know, of course, I've been getting off my butt, and a lot of things have been happening. I need to slow down a little bit. I need to stop the happener, so to speak. But enjoy your life, guys. And I'll post this now, and hopefully it catches everybody before they go to sleep tonight, because they got slow internet. And the deal with WeBoost, I don't know what happened. The lady, I sent her the correct address. For some reason, she had the. When we first started the deal, she told me to give her the address, which I did. That was in Capitan. And then she sent me an email and said, well, the product was delayed. It was on back order, or it wouldn't be available for another 3 days, 4 days. And I said, well, that's okay, because I'm going to Texas, and here's my Texas address. She said, okay, well, then we'll ship it to your Texas address. But for some reason, they didn't do it. They shipped it to Capitan. But anyway, eventually I'll either get it or I won't. Do I really need it at the new place I'm going to? Probably not. No, I think I'll be okay. But if I do get it, I'll try it out. And if I go traveling somewhere, it'll probably come in handy. Anyway, guys, thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye-bye. Buy anything you want anytime. But if you think about it, use the link to Amazon products in the description of all my videos. Why? Because it doesn't cost you 1 penny. Drink plenty of water. 3 or 4 quarts a day is good for you. Help you avoid gout, kidney stones. Also help you lose weight, because you'll be full of water and you won't want to eat. And then what else? Take deep breaths, breathe in deeply. I see a hummingbird right there. They're the prettiest little old birds, and they move quick, man. But anyway, take deep breaths, and you know, that relieves stress, lowers your blood pressure, you feel better. And then stretch, swivel, walk. And, you know, exercise your body. You know, once or twice a day. I've exercised my body a few times. In fact, I went over to that little RV park near the golf course, and when I came back, I stopped by the golf course, one of the holes that parallels that road, the highway, or the little county road, and I got out and walked parallel to the golf course and found 7 golf balls. Boom. So, golf ball city. But anyway, what else? Stand guard at the door of your mind. Do not let negative Nancy or negative Ned get inside of your head. This is your head, your frontal lobes, your consciousness. You know what I mean. We've been through this drill. Accentuate the positive. Eliminate the negative. And, you know, were there good old days? Yes. And are there good old days? Yes. The good old days are now for all of you. Know, if you're alive right now, these are the good old days. Anyway, guys, adios amigos, hasta luego, adios, bye-bye, aloha, all that stuff. Anyway, see you next time.